All right, everybody, this is your 6.2 extra practice number 2, okay? If you take a look, just a few things to fill out on the top here. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with blank pairs of blank sides. Well, that's two pairs of congruent sides. And not only are they congruent, they are parallel. So parallel and congruent. Okay, the properties of the parallelograms. This is what we've been doing the last few days. Opposite sides are congruent. Opposite angles are also congruent. Consecutive angles add up to 180. That term is supplementary. And the diagonals bisect each other or cut them in half. So if you look, we just have several examples. They want us to solve for multiple sides, okay, angles, etc. So let's take a look. Find each measure. They want us to find the measure of AB, which is this side. Well, in a parallelogram, opposite sides are congruent. So if AB is congruent to CD, and if CD is 10, that means AB equals 10. The measure of angle D. Well, here we have angle A, and here we have angle D, and those are consecutive. So angle D plus angle A equals 180. Angle D we don't know, but angle A is 110, equals 180. Subtract 110 on both sides, and angle D is equal to 70 degrees. All right. Here they give us a parallelogram with diagonals, okay? They give us, they want us to solve for multiple things here. I'm going to change the color to make it stand out. Let's just fill out what we know first. I see MN, and that's going to be congruent to LP. So if MN is 10, LP is 10. I see NP is 12, which means ML also has to be 12. All right, here's where we're going to start to need some work here. We have side LN. Well, LN is the diagonal, and that's being bisected or cut in half. So if the first part, LQ, is 9, that means QN has to be 9, and 9 plus 9 makes 18. And we just found that QN is also 9. So angle LPM, angle MLN, we need to find, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we see that there's a 62 here. We see that there's a 32 here. And what are we going to have to do? This is parallel lines cut by a transversal, which means that this must be 62 degrees. Okay, we also have parallel lines cut by a transversal this way, which means this is 32 degrees. So MLN is 32 degrees, LPM is 62 degrees. Okay, not a lot of solving, just a lot of analyzing, okay? We're going to do another one of these because I know that the picture can get a little crowded. We're just using the properties that we know from here and about parallel lines to answer the questions. Okay, CDEF is a parallelogram. Find each measure. Well, first they want us to find CD. Well, we know that CD and EF are congruent, so we can set them equal to each other. 4W plus 8 equals 5W plus 1. I'm going to subtract the smaller variable on both sides, so 8 equals W plus 1. Subtract 1 on both sides, and W equals 7. Now we can use this and plug it in to 4W plus 8. So 4 times 7 plus 8 is 28 plus 8, which makes 36. So side CD is 36. Okay, which also makes EF 36, because 5 times 7 plus 1 is 35 plus 1, which is 36. Now the measure of angle F here and here are consecutive angles. So let's solve for those. 9z minus 12 plus 3z equals 180. So here we have 12z minus 12 equals 180. 12z equals 192. And then we need to take that and divide both sides by 12. So 192 divided by 12 is 16. So the measure of angle Z is 16. And now we plug that in for 3Z. 3 times 16 is 48. So the measure of angle F is 48 degrees. And the measure of angle E is 9 times 16 minus 12. Well, 9 times 16 is 144. Minus 12 makes 132. Okay. The rest of the way should be a little easier. Solve for x, y, a, and b. Well, a is right here, and we know that a is congruent to its opposite side. So a equals 6. There's your first one. A is done. X and angle U are going to be congruent. So x equals 80 degrees. X is done. Now, angle U and angle R, angle U plus angle R equals 180. Angle U is 80 degrees, plus angle R is called Y equals 180. Just minus 80 on both sides, and Y equals 100. And the last one is angle side B. Well, ST is congruent to UR, so B equals 9. Solve for X, Y, and B here. Okay. So, first thing, let's just make a mess of the picture first. We have parallel lines cut by a transversal. And we have parallel lines cut by a transversal this way. So let's go back a little. First thing we should know is that the diagonals bisect each other. So that means that B has to equal 9. Okay. Next, we are going to look at our parallel lines cut by our transversal, and we know that this would be 35 degrees, and that Y would be 45 degrees. So angle Y is equal to 45 degrees. We're going to look at it on the reverse side. And here we have parallel lines cut by our transversals again. Okay. Okay. So in terms of consecutive angles here, we have 45. This is going to be a 35 degree, which makes angle B 45 degrees. All right, solve for X and solve for Y. Well, we know opposite sides are congruent, so we can set up our two equations. 4x equals 8, and 3y plus 4 equals 13. Divide both sides by 4, and x equals 2. Subtract 4 on both sides here. 3y equals 9. Divide by 3 on both sides, and y equals 3. Okay. Here we know diagonals bisect each other, so we can set them equal. So 2x plus 8 is going to equal 18. And 4y minus 2 is going to equal 22. Minus 8 on both sides, 2x equals 10. Divide by 2 on both sides, and x equals 5. Add 2 on both sides to the right, 4y equals 24. Divide by 4 on both sides, and y equals 6. All right. Last ones. We have TE equals 4 plus 2x. And EV equals 4x minus 4. Find the measure of TE. So we know that they're congruent to each other. So 4 plus 2x equals 4x minus 4. I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. 4 equals 2x minus 4. Whoops, add 4 on both sides. Getting ahead of myself. And 8 equals 2x. Divide by 2 on both sides, and x equals 4. For 22, we have your first angle, and then these two together are going to add up to 180. So this is 4x, because 2 and 2 makes 4, and 14 minus 7 is 7. We're going to add 125 and set it equal to 180. 125 and 7 makes 132. You're going to subtract 132 on both sides. And we get 48. Divide by 4, and x equals 12. And they want to find the measure of TSR. So we have to figure out 2 times 12 plus 14 and 2 times 12 minus 7. 2 times 12 is 24, plus 14 makes 38. And 2 times 12 minus 7 is 24 minus 7, which is 17. Okay. And 38 and 17 makes 55.